Welcome to Sustainable Stock, Reviving Legacy Genetics, the podcast that delves into the power of traditional cattle genetics and the ranchers bringing them back. We're returning to the tried and true practices that prioritize what truly works on the ranch. Each episode, we'll talk to ranchers who are rediscovering the methods that built strong, resilient, efficient, and fertile herds in the 1960s and 70s. These breeders are blending the best of the past with practical solutions for today's ranching world. Whether you're passionate about the future of ranching or curious about heritage genetics, this podcast is for you. Presented by Boss Sires. Tune in as we reconnect with the roots of the herd. Here's your host, Patrick Powers.
Hi, and welcome back to another episode of Sustainable Stock. Today I'm joined by Roderick Murray of Panama, and I've asked him to come on today because he has some very unique experiences in the world of cattle, and the country of Panama just hosted a conference. I don't know the exact name for it, but I know Mr. Roderick was there, and some Boss Sires team members were there as well, and I just kind of want to capture that moment in time in cattle for the world to hear. So, Mr. Roderick, would you mind introducing yourself? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, I can hear you well. My name is Roderick Murray. From Panama. A researcher of the Panama Innovation Livestock Innovation Institute. Here to share some of our thought and experience with livestock and specifically U.S. genetics over our tropical condition.
That's perfect. Well, just to get a little bit more about who you are, what started your journey in working with agriculture?
Well, I have a rancher background. My grandpa, my dad, they were a rancher, and also I joined the activity. So I have an experience that I born around livestock, around cattle, and then I went to the college of ag here in Panama, and I study animal science. So I get my bachelor, then I take an master degree, and finally I study my PhD at Colorado State University, and I have my PhD degree in animal breeding and genetic. But beside that, I also have some different expertise. Take other country like a graduate degree in animal biotechnology and breeding or genetic improvement from Cuba. I also have been trained by the INEA of Spain, or the Institute of Research, Ag Research from Spain. And also I went to Japan, and I have also trained by the Japanese National Livestock Breeding Center in Fukushima. So I was there 6 months getting a training on genetics and also repro biotechnology. So that probably is a summarize of all my study background, and not only here in Panama or in US, also in other country, in Latin American country and Asia too.
That's excellent. So you really find yourself at a pretty cool intersection of science, government policy, and real world outcomes.
Yeah, that's it. We can just summarize it like that, and get involved in the livestock industry, and also and all the part that been related to politics working for this in this institution for the Ministry of Agriculture of Panama. So kind of I'm been involved in, you know, governmental politics and decision make for the agriculture improvement of Panama.
Yes, sir. Well, that's kind of what brought us together today, was to speak on the current state of agriculture globally. So what was it that led Panama to seek a panel of guests and government officials to meet last month, or earlier this month? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Um, well, this was our first national convention for um, cattle or livestock industry, and we get to that point because we are we were analyzing all the different economic case scenario that what we are living now or what will come in the future. And then we set two main points. One, to analyze um, all uh, the different agreement that Panama had with different country, and that's involve agriculture and specifically involve the livestock industry. And then we also analyze what will be the step that we should take to improve our livestock industry and be ready, be prepared for those economic scenario of all the change that will come in the future and that in the market, and we should be ready for that. So based on those two topics, we invite different panelists, people with different expertise, so they could give a thought about their point of view. And then at the end, we discuss uh, all those different topics, and we end up with well, we could call it that kind of resolution, or we put together our idea as ranchers to present it to the government, and also to know what's gonna be the pathway that we gotta take to be success in the next decade. That's it, just at the turn of the car, and we're gonna be in 2030, and all the market and economic scenario of the entire world will change, and we are trying to be ready for that.
That's perfect. I can imagine that. I mean, some of the numbers that were presented at the panels made their way back to me, and from what I understand, it was expressed that Panama is experiencing a birth rate range of 35 to 60%. I imagine that
Yeah,
could
I mean
be a
that's one
leading
of
force for conversations like these.
yeah, I mean that's one of our main uh, goal, to have a panelists that can be expert in repro, genetic, cattle management, and this goes about that because, well, it's when we analyze our numbers and we could go back to 1990s or to 90s, 80s, well, we stuck on that range of uh, calf or birth rate in our country, cattle birth rate, a cow birth rate, and well, we cannot improve, or we try to improve our nutrition, we try to improve our management, we try to use hormones and all this protocol, but we still keep at the same point. So something going wrong, And that was the point, to try to analyze that. And when we analyzed and the different records, not only from experimentation, but also uh, by different ranchers, we find the same problem and we get to the same numbers. So the point is that, okay, if we improve nutrition, if we have improved um, mm, everything related to um, um, hormones, and we improve the management and everything, well, the point is that probably the genetics that we are being using is not working under our environment or our um, tropical environment, to go more precisely. So be more precise. So something is going wrong, and that was the idea, to analyze that point. And when we come back to our numbers, well, 80% of our cattle genetic is based on Brahman and Brahman influence animal. So the thing is that we should focus on try to improve that breed, and that would lead um, our business or start to work different. So that was one of our conclusion and our point of discussion in this convention.
Okay. Well, forgive me, but I'm going to run through some of the other numbers that I was given quickly and then ask you to speak on those if you don't mind. So
Okay,
the
good.
numbers I was given was y'all's most recent national birth rate averages that y'all had collected were 2017, you were at 54%, and then by 2021 it had risen to 55%, but then you saw a slight decline in 2025 with it being 47%.
Yeah,
I
and
think that
that's our
affirms what you're speaking on.
yeah, and that are the official numbers. That's a nationwide um, collecting numbers. So it's not only from the experimental station, is that numbers that are being collected in the entire country. So, and that's our reality. And that's why our herd um, numbers are declining too. So we used to have 1.7 million animals, cows, and today we have only 1.4 million. So if our birth rate not going well, and the demand for beef it's constantly or growing, we could start to eat our inventory. So that is what really taking place right now.
Okay. Well, I'm certainly not picking on you. I'm trying to paint a picture for the listener that wherever they're at, they're not the only ones facing these problems. The beauty of your group is that y'all have taken a moment to assess the root of the problem, which is potentially your genetics and the fertility held within those genetics.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. When we compare our herd performance with our neighbor, mostly all of we are going through the same problem of fertility and performance. That is what we are getting from when we analyze our neighbor, when we analyze Colombia, when we analyze Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Venezuela. Well, we are almost using the same genetic or the same pattern of Cebu genetic and crossbreed system, and well, we're getting almost the same result. So it's
Absolutely.
something that's it's common in Latin America or in Central and it's part of South America. That's not going the right way.
That's right. Well, I don't believe it's unique to your environment. I think you've highlighted that well. Um, just so we can paint a full picture, what's the average age of first calf in these
Oh,
herds?
what? Okay, the numbers that we have here in Panama. So on average, we got 40. 2.6 months of age of first calving on average. That include Cebu breed, that include Bostar crossbreed F1 on other crossbreed animals, and that is the average. So that's mean when we try to break down that, we found that the average for the Cebu breed is 45.9 month for age at first calving. So as I mentioned before, uh, probably our 80% of our herd is based on Brahman. Probably 90% of the Cebu are Brahman or Brahman influenced Cebu breed. So when we break down the Cebu breed, we can find that okay, the Brahman is the one that's are given we the highest age at first calving, and then we have the Nelore that reduce the age, and also let's call it mixed. Cebu probably will be the crossbreed between Brahman Nelore or Nelore and Cindy or Brahman Cindy, whatever. We have it like undefined Cebu, but on average, we got that 45 months. And within that group, well, the Brahman is the one that calving really late in on our uh, condition of management and nutrition. Then we have some F1 that obviously if you have a F1, you can have the 100% expression of the heterosis, and then our F1 and call it F1 with Angus or Simmental or whatever other Europe breed. Well, that decrease of the age of first calving, and we got on average for the F1 39-month of age of first calving, and that when we put all together drive we to the 42.6 age of
Yeah.
month
You're
of
always
age
going to
of
have
first
those
calving.
outliers that give you a heavy bell curve, huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, to further your
So
point about your market demands and it dipping into your breeding herd to meet those meat demands, what would you say the average age of slaughter there is? I mean, if it's taking 42 months to
it's
breed and you've got a slaughter rate of
yeah, I mean everything is related. If you have a really slow puberty heifer, you're gonna have also slow grow steer, and that's why we are getting over 36 months. Sometimes you go over 40 months to get a steer to the market based on grass. Probably you could speed it up if you give some grains, but you're gonna have really high age to slaughter under our condition. I mean, and 90 or 95% of our cattle business is based on forage, it's based on pasture. So what that number is saying is that probably our animal not doing so efficient on grass. So something is not
yeah.
going
I
the
think
right
you
way.
highlighted that well. It may not be the fact that you're nutrient deficient. It may be the fact that you have too late of a developing cow. It can't
Yeah,
utilize
it's
properly.
yeah
Okay.
that is the part of this.
Well, what is the average slaughter weight of the cattle there? What is the average size cattle?
Okay, in in 1990s, we set a goal to try to have at least 1,000 pound for a steer to take it to the slaughterhouse. So it's everything's gonna be around that main goal that we had. And when you have a steer on pasture, just pasture, well, the goal is try to get in as quick as possible to that 1,000 pound. If you supplement this animal with some grain, you can get uh, 1,200 pounds, or some people keep them in uh, feedlot and go to 13, probably 1,400. But the average, the goal for everyone that doing this business is try to get them as quick as possible to 1,000. That's the goal. So it's probably what we are getting. But since we got a bell curve, probably moving towards the left, it's more frequently that we're gonna have animal that will go to the slaughterhouse with less than that 1,000 pound per
Okay.
head.
You mentioned the
So
shift at the 90s. Was that where you were gained acceptance of the size of cattle y'all had, or did y'all have a push for a larger frame at that time?
okay, we got a push for a lot of frame at that time, and it's been correlated to also late puberty and on heifer, and also bulls and obviously those steer. And on my study, and I present this in animal science or Western section animal science meeting in, I think it was like 2021 or 2022. We run it was a simple correlation between the weight of the waning weight of Brahman and age of spirit calving on Brahman, or our national age of first calving. Now we find a correlation, a 0.6 correlation, that is a moderate correlation. I mean, first, correlation is not causation, but the trend is that in the way that we start to try to get larger frame animal, heavy animal, in that same way, the trend of age as first calving was increasing. And this was 20 years of analysis, data analysis between 2000 to 2020 or 2021, something like that. So that drive us to the conclusion that probably be focused on trying to get, let's say, heavy weight animals for slaughter, and was not probably the right idea in our genetic improvement goal. Now we got to try to swap that, because we are decreasing fertility, trying to gain more weight, but we are decreasing our national herd fertility. And also, we are not getting what we were expecting for weight at slaughter and age of slaughter. So we are not
Well,
getting.
Roderick, I don't want to interrupt you. I would really like to revisit your unmet expectations. But
Yeah,
before we get there, I kind of want to let's analyze that climb before the fall, because I see that happening to others, and I really think that your recognition of it could really help another. So you've already mentioned the heavy Brahmin influence of the genetics there in Panama,
yeah,
and then you talked about y'all bringing in the influence of larger cattle in the 90s. What
yeah.
kind of Brahmin did y'all bring in? Was it
Oh, okay. It's a long, mm, let's say, long story, but we got in the country a pyramid structure. So we got people that go to US, elite people, or I won't say elite people, elite rancher, and they go to US to the different show. They buy genetic from US, probably from I don't know, the animals that ranch or mm, the ones that are best, uh,
Best in class.
yeah. And then that is the genetic that they bring home. They'll multiply that, and then let's say a small rancher buy those genetic from them and bring it to the commercial herd. Also, we have from 1996, 1997, an national program to improve the genetic and focus on increased uh, uh, the weight and increase carcass weight, live weight, and also carcass weight. That we call it uh, I'm gonna try to translate it in English. Is the best bull or the best sire, something like that. El mejor semental. So the government is implementing this program from, if I don't wrong, it's 1997, something like that. And so this genetic that this uh, rancher are bringing home and being multiplied, the government is paying to share this genetic in the entire country. So this is the way that we are being utilizing that genetic, and this is the way that the genetic is flowing through the entire country.
So
And
the cost of those genetics was subsidized by your government to with the thought of
yeah,
improving the national
it's
herd.
yeah, yeah, it's really, let's say, a high percentage has been improved, subsidized or not. Let's call it subsidized by the government. Yeah, because the farmer just pay $500 per bull, and the rest of uh, the amount that the bull costs is covered by the government. So
Okay.
it's that, and
I imagine that
that's
influence could spread vastly with that situation.
yeah, obviously it's that way it's running. And beside that, let's say the ranchers that don't go through this government program, well, we got the different auction, and those ranchers go to those auction and just get buy them bull and bring it home. And that's the way this is really going through, and it's the our reality. That's the
Well, if
way
you
that.
had to guess, what percentage of the national herd has that influence at this point, and y'all are trying to recover from?
uh, I mentioned is for sure it's over 80% of this genetic group,
Really?
or probably more. But I can, you know, um, I'm trying to guess without
I'm not trying to
like
get you in any
or
trouble.
yeah, no, but it for sure is that because um the majority of our national herd is based on Brahman influence. We got some Nilor, we got some other Cebu breed, but and also we got some other crossbreed and also synthetic breed, but they cover really a small piece of our livestock, and the majority is based on Brahman. That's of our reality,
Okay, well, Mr. Roderick, before I let you finish your earlier statement on your unmet expectations of those genetics that were brought about in the 90s, and now y'all are living the reality of it, is the show ring, even though it led you astray at that point, is it still a cultural part of Panama?
Oh yeah, I mean, the way that people choose to buy a bull from a breeder is because this breeder is getting a lot of prize in the different show, and people have the idea that genetic improvement is really laid on that. If you get uh, a, a bull or a cow that get grand shop or get a good price in the different fair, oh, you are doing the right genetic improvement. And that's why people go to this rancher and, buy bulls or buy heifer or whatever. But that is what the majority of the rancher believe, that if you get a lot of prize in the different national fair, you are doing the best genetic improvement work for your herd, and that they buy that to try to bring that to the commercial operation.
That sounds a lot like home.
Or probably because we copy a lot of what US does, so probably we're trying to copy that model over here.
That sounds a lot like home, and it scares me.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean now we are trying to explain that show genetics or show um, a really good show performance doesn't mean genetic improvement, and it doesn't mean that probably that genetic will really function on your operation, but it's going step by step, and when people start to analyze their numbers, then they say like, oh shit, oh sorry for that.
You're good.
Oh, okay, we gotta do something different. We gotta probably that's why people now introducing Nelor to the air. They're introducing Red Cindy
I like
or
that. Let's move on that direction. What
okay.
are the unmet expectations, and what is currently being done about it? You're talking about this introduction of
Yeah, people that in the
Malure. I'm
uh,
sorry.
no, yeah, Nelor, people that's in the commercial business, it's more frequently that they introduce Nelor to try to improve first reproduction performance, second uh udder and teeth, and third to have a calf that can burn alive with a really low birth weight and can stand up alone without help and start to suckling early.
So y'all are having
And
dummy calf issues.
yeah, sure. And if you talk to the different ranchers, they will tell you they have that problem, and specifically with some specific breed that they have to be there. And the other thing is that the other teeth is they're too big, so the calf can't suckle alone, and they gotta put them and help me and probably milk that cow and bottle the calf. So we having that problem, and it's really frequently. So people trying to correct that by introducing Nelor or other Cebu breed that probably can correct those problems.
Okay. Well, I feel like this would be an excellent opportunity for us to speak about the research herd, because y'all are
Okay,
making strides and efforts in that direction as well, right? Isn't that a heavy Creole
sure.
cattle
And
influence?
okay, yeah. I mean, that's why when we analyze our numbers, uh, things are like going out like Asia first coming, because the horse that have the best adaptation and the best performance, repro performance is our national Creole breed. But people start to swap that and use first the F1 crossbreed between the Creole and Cebu, let's call it Cebu. And they saw like, oh, this is going well and this animal are performing well. And then they keep putting this uh Cebu breed in the herd, and they start to have a different problem. And they the thing is that since we start to do that, the numbers of the uh, Creole breed start to decline to the point that they uh, are in danger of extinction. So now the government or this institute is trying to recover this Creole and try to teach farmers that they can be used strategically in different cross breeding system to improve uh, those traits that I mentioned before, fertility, and also uh, beard weight and all those problems that you
Drought
have,
resistance.
got all of that, and trying to use this Creole breed at the right in way. The only thing is that it's a Creole, so it's not gonna be a big animal, and you won't have that uh, you know, huge animal or huge sire to take it to, or steer, than to take it to the slaughterhouse. So people still like, yeah, uh, we have more calf, but they still, light. They have a light way, but the things we try to tell them, like, okay, eh, for each of this other breed that you are using, probably you will get two, or in two of this Creole, and in the lifetime you will get more production from this Creole cow than from other breed,
And you
because
spread the risk. You're not putting
yeah,
it all on the back of a single cow.
yeah, that's it,
I like
yeah,
this. We constantly speak about reinventing the incentive structure for people in the world of cattle, breeders, uh, feedstock, seed stock producers, growers, all that. And I love that the Panamanian government has this herd set aside as an education tool. I mean, y'all are showcasing its capability of utilization of local habitat. It
yeah,
can convert forage better than what's been imported, and y'all are showcasing that. You're using it as a tool. You're educating with it.
yeah. That's the goal, that just not only to try to recover this Creole breed, but also uh, teach the farmer that you can utilize and take advantage of all the adaptability and all the good traits that the Creole already had, and get the best of it if you introduce it or use it the right way in your hair.
I can't help but raise simple and borderline stupid questions. If those cattle can do it and they're not valued, if they can maintain high fertility, if they can be early maturing, if they can uh, sustain good condition on the forage available, what more will it take for people to look that direction and see it and see how their big cows are failing? Is it
Probably probably will have to take them to a show or something, a show ring or something like that. You know, that's important, that people still believe that animal from a show ring and winning a prize, that mean genetic improvement. That's the point, and it's a lot of marketing behind that. And well, we got to try to, to teach people the right way. But since there's a lot of marketing behind, people believe like, okay, doing that is the way that we can improve our hair performance. Or I want to buy this bull to bring it to my herd, and then I will have animal just like that one. And they will look like big, like hold this show animal, look at the ring show,
Yeah.
and I gotta have all of that. And then when they take it home, then after a couple months or after years, they just have a disappointment.
Yeah, when that
They just
first
feel
calf
like,
doesn't hit the ground within 3 years, and the
yeah, they
pretty
they
woman that
start
was
like,
walking it didn't come with it.
yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's normal too. When you talk to rancher, they this story just repeat and just repeat and just repeat once another.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
some of them say like, oh, but okay, I got an experience and I get a bull from the show, and they perform well on my condition. And but it's really rare to really really hear something like that from commercial
yeah.
rancher. It's really rare.
Well, I mean, it's a genetic contradiction.
It's a genetic contradiction. Yeah, yeah. What I told all of them is that, okay, what you what you saw in the fair or in the show ring is based on management that breeder give to this animal, and you won't buy that same management. You won't feed them the way they get fed. You won't have them in a pen that they don't go on grass by themselves. You won't put all the drugs that those animals get, and you will take them to the real world. And the problem is that they was like in a bubble, not exposed to ticks, to hornfly, to different, parasites and mm, all that things that can mess around cattle. And then when you take it to the real life, they start to have that problem. And then they want to transmit this genetic to your next generation. And that's why you are getting that problem in your head. And then if you keep going that way, you're going to have huge problem. Or you have to swap your operation to get your animal in a special bubble, or you're just gonna run out of the business,
Yeah. Well, Roderick, have you always been on this side of the fence with this thought process with cattle and genetics, or were you a part of that party for a long time as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm I'm a national judge, so and what I'm saying now, a couple years back, is that I'm not. I just got. I'm gonna be judged from a fair next week. But what I'm telling people that, and when I give my conference, is that I'm trying to don't do that, because not only the breeders but the commercial rancher believe that what you pick and that uh, ring is really the best animal, and they focalize on that. Like, I gotta get that my animal looks like that one that won that prize, and I'm trying to swap to select not this fat animal, but select functional animals. And sometimes uh, people after the show, they come and ask me like, first they told me like, "Hey, you brave." I say like, "Why?" Because you choose the tiny one, no, probably not the huge one, a moderate frame animal, but that can, probably walk well, have good feet, leg, and it's like, but that is the best one. I mean, if I select that huge animal, I'm giving the wrong message. So sometimes people, and sometimes some breeders just get mad at me, and they say,
Sounds like you wear the weight of that responsibility of being a judge.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm in judging, like, I have more, probably 20 years to been judging, and at the beginning of my career, was selecting those animals. But then when I start to analyze numbers, I say like, something's not going well. I got to
Was there one story that changed you? Was there one point, or was it all of it?
I mean, all of it. Because I also raise cattle, and I also make the same same error, and take this animal from show, take it on the grass, and then like scratch my head like, oh, like, what I did, you know.
Yeah.
And like my dad, sometime, some point, he just told me like, hey, nah, I don't know if you really getting the right study, because you're not. Suppose I send you to college to do things the right way, and this not working. Like, it's like, because it's supposed that I should bring something better to the ranch and things sometimes like, and then I start to understand what we were doing the wrong way, and then I start try to change it. And I went through all of that. I also introduced Nelor on my hair to try to improve adaptability, fertility. I gone through all that pathway that people are doing now in Panama. So that's why sometimes when people ask me for an advice, I just say to them, probably I cannot tell you what to do, but I will tell you what to don't do because I already did it and I failed. So
Yeah.
that's what can I tell you. Don't do this because I tried and it doesn't go the right way. So
Yeah.
that's my advice.
Well, my question for you is, you pointed out that someone told you that you're brave. You were told you were brave.
Yeah,
Is there risk involved when you speak out against these powerful seed stock producers or marketing systems?
sure. I mean, the thing is that you really going against some people that have a lot of money, a lot of influence everywhere. So you gotta uh, try to choose the right words to say things because you can get in some trouble. I don't know which kind of trouble,
Yeah.
but you can get in.
You
You
have to
can
do
get
it
into.
tastefully with tact.
You gotta use like
Yes, sir.
well, be careful with that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they gonna probably threat your life or something like that, but
No.
you can get in trouble
They can
because
mess with your
it's
livelihood.
that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, well, so, we've already remarked that sometimes it feels like the scientific evidence alone hasn't been enough. And you talked about the marketing campaign of the other side. I would like to round back to the conference y'all just completed. Do
Okay.
you feel hopeful after it? Do you feel like y'all made a great effort with these speakers you brought in? What do you feel the message taken away was?
I
I asked a
mean,
lot there, so break it down
yeah,
however
yeah,
you'd
yeah.
like.
I mean, people really, the people that or the attendants feel really good with the conference, with the expert that we bring to this conference. The thing is that we need now to get this message massive. We need to use some market strategy so people can listen to this. The next point is try to get all the thoughts together and uh, give it to the um, decision makers, to the politics, and say that, hey, we are in this point. We got to do or change things if we want this business really succeed and can keep going based on all the evidence that we are doing something that not giving our the right the right solution for this or the right thing. We are expecting that probably we can convince the decision maker of our country and start. We know this not gonna be uh quickly change, but we believe that we're gonna go step by step, doing every day the things better than, and at the end of the day, probably we're gonna achieve them. But we know that the pathway is not easy, and it will take time to people understand and to people do things the best way.
Anything worth doing is worth it being the hard way and the long way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, is there anything that I haven't asked you in regards to that conference that you would like to speak on?
The only just I want like public thanks the expertise that the expert people that we uh, brought on from also from both sides because they really give us the key point of um, what is happening not only in Panama, but also what taking place in the US, and people start to at least to think about it, like, hey, uh, this the
It
commentary that I
helps to
have,
feel like it's not just a problem in your backyard.
not a problem of Panama. And um, some commercial rancher, this is after the conference, is start to say like, hey, this gringo told- he really talked what is taking place on my operation. This guy is he's really have uh, a real idea about what is taking place in the real world. And well, they talk about US, they give example from Australia, they give some different example, but the thing is that everywhere we are getting the same problem, and we need to do something to change that, to try to improve and try to change what we are doing well.
I think one of thank you for inviting Grant with the Vasberg team. I mean, Grant with the Boss Hires team to go down there and speak on our behalf. But I think one of the big things is letting people know that the solution doesn't have to be imported either. A lot of it can be found right at home.
Sure.
I think that's very empowering to a lot of producers.
That's it. I mean, probably we just have to, move some small pieces in this uh in what we have in the country, and probably we're going to have the solution. But the point is that given that thought about that idea about to be more efficient, like based on grass with low external input in your herd, and try to multiply the genetics that really works on your condition, that was a really good thought. So people, I know that the attendants start to think about it, and at least this idea gonna grow more and gonna multiply in the country.
Well, it must have sounded right to you. You're actively deciding to work with us. What would you say led you to decide to be a part of the Boss Hires team?
I mean, it's just have the idea or the goal to try to change things in the industry, and specifically for people in Latin America that they depend on the right performance of the herd, and if we don't try to help them and they change the way they are doing things, a lot of people gonna be really affected, and because they are putting all the eggs in the same basket. So we need to try things change. We need to try to give them a right advice and try they succeed in this livestock industry. So that idea, that goal to help people and try people do the right thing, is, I will say that the main I don't know how to get it in English, but it's what I think I probably can help and contribute with both sides. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
it.
Yeah. Well, it's your first time on the show, but I ask every guest, what would you say the moral obligation of the cattlemen to the land, the cattle, and future generations is?
Can you repeat that, please?
What would you say the moral obligation of the cattlemen is to the land, the cattle, and future generations?
Okay, moral obligation.
Yeah, what's my
Okay,
job? What do I owe it?
okay. Um, First, we got to try to be sustainable in our operation, but also we need to not only work for our generation. We're not working for today. We are also uh, trying to build and give a legacy for the future generation. So we need to do things the right way now so the future generation can keep going in this business. We need to do that. And obviously, try to produce the right way so the land environment can also uh, go forward, provided that grass and that food and also that interaction with the nature, you know. So we need to do things the right way. So for the future generation, they will still have a good land to produce, and also they can make money and keep in this business.
Yes, sir. Well, Roderick, I wanted to tell you, thank you for coming on the show today, and thank you for being an ally and caring about cattle this way and trying to educate and see the greatest things we can out of cattle and see true resilience be brought back into herds.
Yeah, and thank you, thank you for this invitation. For next time, I will try to improve my English.
No, you were
And
great.
and
I need to
well,
work on my Spanish.
it's just that well, as I mentioned, it's it's just, well, I'm trying to contribute to multiply that idea that cattle business can be profitable. You can make money of this. You can keep the environment the right way, but we need to do the change that we have really to do to keep this business going the right way.
We need to quit being producers so much and start being stewards again.
Yeah.
I like it.
And yeah, so that's it. Thank you, everyone, and I hope we can meet in another opportunity.
Yes, sir. Well, I would invite you to help me sign off. As always, I like to say, don't forget to ranch with purpose.
And breathe for the future.
Thank you for tuning in to Sustainable Stock, Reviving Legacy Genetics. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share. Join us next time as we continue exploring the legacy and future of cattle ranching. For more information, visit us at bosssires.com. That's BOSSIRES.com. Or connect with us on Facebook. Until then, stay rooted in common sense and connected to the herd.